Live. And it isn't Memorex. Okay, so I want to put this on the stand first. Wow, this is tough. There we go. Got a lot to do to this. You know what? I got to plug this in. I got to plug it in. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. London, you're the only one that's going to be on here tonight. At least I think. You might be the only one on here tonight. As you can see, I'm looking at these pictures of the flashback. All right, you're here. I'm looking at these pictures on my screen, and I got a ways to go to get this right. Yeah, quite a bit left to do. Quite a bit left to do, but I want to put because I won't be able to watch you on my phone while I'm videoing with my phone. So what I'm going to do is actually cross out this picture. Use my enhanced picture that I kept. Cross this out. And I gotta go on YouTube. Go to my channel. What the hell? Oh, duh. That's not where I want to go. I want to go to YouTube. Go to my channel. Now, I don't need to see the picture. I don't need to see the live stream. I need to see this picture. All right, so you can see what I'm doing here. You can see I'm reading your chats. I can read your chats. Do me a favor, London. Put your caps lock on so I can see the text. You can see it's really small, and I'm sitting over here, and it makes it really tough to see. So when I'm trying to talk to you, it's a little rough seeing the small text. So put your caps lock on, and that'll help. That'll help. Should I zoom in? Yeah, much better. All right, you don't really need to see this picture over here. We want to look at the sculpture. So I'm going to zoom in. I don't know how much of that sculpture. Let me see what the zoom looks like on the screen. Yeah, that's good enough, right? Can you say that's good enough? Much better, London. Okay, let me pull my chair up a little bit. And get back to comfort. Okay. I've been trying to get the head shape right. That's the hard part, is getting the head shape right. And I got to smooth in the back. And I did a lot of work to the lips, if you haven't noticed. I'm still working on those lips too. Still working on them. So that's an ongoing pressure. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to turn this on its side, so it's facing you. I got to get this area smoothed out and rounded better. Yeah, just extra energy tonight. I really shouldn't be up late because I have things I got to do tomorrow. I got to drop off my wife's car, get it, worked on. I'm just going to take this clay off of here. There's too much clay on this side. It just doesn't look good at all. And the weird thing is, the new clay does not want to stick to the old. I'm having a hell of a time with that. See how easy it's peeling off? It's flaking off all the old clay. And I mean, I could smooth that in real easily with naphtha, but still, it's just a pain in the ass. Pain in the ass. So. Yeah, I got a lot of work to do to this sculpture. What's in there? Something's preventing me from cleaning that edge. I got some work to do in this studio, I'll tell you that. This studio is a goddamn mess. And I mean, I had it cleaned up and everything, and it's still, I just don't have enough room. I've got to get stuff out of here. That's really the issue, more than anything else. I just don't have any room in here to make this functional. Wow, really? That was a dark hair? No, it wasn't human. It was actually from the one of the brushes I use for chemical. It's a chemical brush, which is artificial fibers, plastic. And another one. Check that out. Got it. Getting the back of this head's going to suck. Because the ear's still on there. Actually, I may just rake the ear off. It make it easier and just redo the ears. I don't really care. I just have to really make sure that I don't lose these. Because this is where, let me see, do I have, let's use the bigger scraper. All right, now you see these lines. This is putting in with this type of scraper. This has look at that. See what I was saying about this clay? Look at that. It don't even want to stick to it. Look at that. That's the old sculpture underneath. Look at that. It didn't want to stick to this. It's what I was afraid of. You got to get this to stick somehow, and I'm going to have to probably. I'm going to have to remelt a lot of this clay. Now, the nice thing about having it, I peeled off all that clay, is now I don't have to fix the side of this head. But I will have to blend this back in, right in here. See, that's what happens when the clay gets too old. This clay is on this armature. It's been on here for 3 years, and the clay does have an expiration date to it. I do believe. Yes, it does. And hold on, I'll read your comment in 1 second. Let me just clean this mess up underneath the armature here. Piles and piles of clay. Yeah, I'll melt the hell out of this and blend it in. And blend it in. What does that say? I'm trying to hone this thing down. Like the head was there was something wrong, and it just was too bulky. So I have to take it down and then reblend this side of the head. I have to do the same thing on the other side too. The other side's still just as messed up. The problem is I'm not sure I'm going to win this battle using this sculpture, because I may have to pour up another night creeper in clay like I have over here and alter that with fresh clay, because I think this clay here has to be completely remelted off of this armature, and I have to reconstitute the clay by completely melting it down, and then it'll bring it back to life. But let me see how bad this. Yeah, that really took that down a lot. That's all right. I'll fix this. I'm going to do the same thing on this side because there's way too much clay on this side. Really weird, I can tell you that. Really, really weird. How the clay doesn't want to stick to itself. Yeah, well, the head, I couldn't get the head shape right. This head was like bulging out too much. There's so much I have to redo. I have to rethink my. I was trying to. All right. Take London. What I tried to do was alter my original Night Creeper, and that's what this is. It's still the Night Creeper, 78. You can still see it in the back. Um, and all I was doing was trying to alter it to make it look like the flashback. And that was pretty much just working on the face, but the head shape was so different that it just didn't look right. So let me back this up a little bit. At some point I'm going to grab something and it's going to peel off. I know instantly when I hit the old clay, I can feel it. It gets real slippery, where the new clay actually grabs. Stickier. That's the right word too. The new clay is sticky. The old clay is slippery. That's a lot of clay I'm removing. But it's got to be right. And I don't know that I'm going to be able to get it right with this, using this sculpture. And that'll really suck because I got a lot of work done on this, but that's all right. Nothing but time. I mean, I have the silicone master over there. All I got to do is fill that with some melted hot clay, and only it won't be on the armature. I'll have to put that sculpture on the Lazy Susan to get it right. Man, oh man, that's a lot of clay I took off of there. Holy shit. But it has to be done. I am not putting out a mask that doesn't look good just to get it finished. That is not that's never been my forte. I don't rush things. I don't care. I don't have to rush. That's the nice thing about being retired. I don't have to rush to put something out really nice. You know, it'll get out there. It just has to take its course. It has to take its time. I'm a perfectionist. It's my nature. I've also realized I'm a better carver than I am a sculptor. I don't understand the difference. I can't figure it out why it seems so different to me, sculpting versus carving in wood. Maybe it's because I'm working in three-dimensional and not so much like, well, you're doing some three-dimensional work with carving with wood, but you're not doing deep, you're not doing complete three-dimensional. So I don't know. I can't figure it out. I just know that. And I think what it is, more than anything else, is lack of experience. I've been doing this for 3 years. That's it. 3 years, and that is not a long time when it comes to doing anything like this at all. People that are really good at sculpting, really high detail faces, you know, they have a lot of experience with, you know, doing faces and so on and so forth. Let me read what you're saying here. You want to make a new stone mold, but you just don't have the time. Well, do you have a finished? Do you have a finished mask? Do you have a finished sculpture that you're ready to stone? Is that what you're saying? Because that would suck. I mean, if you have to, trying to. Tough on the tools, I'll tell you that. Getting all this clay off. Tough on the hands. My clay's already hardening up, so that kind of sucks. I'll take a ball of clay like this and I'll warm it up in the microwave for like 40 seconds, and it's nice and mushy and soft. And it allows me to really get it right. All right, so hold on, I know what I'll do. I have to take this out of here. Make sure rake's on there. I just took a whole bunch of clay off of that head. Boy, did I. You should see the pile of clay that's in front of me here. Some of it went on the floor. There you go. I just piled on some of it. Some of it's like, got a whole bunch more here. Come on, get out of there. I'll have to remelt this clay. I have a feeling if I can get it down to the original old clay and then just completely melt this clay down again, I'll reuse this clay. I don't want to lose this clay, you know what I mean? There we go. That's what I'm looking for right there. What do I do with it? There it is. You know, there was a moment when I was thinking, you know, I better remelt or make another, just make another hollow cast of my night creeper so it's fresh and new clay. And I thought that right before I started, this will be okay. I can do this. I can make it work. I can make this clay stick. And then I thought, once I got started on it, I went, oh no. You know, I did fight with it and I did get it to stick. But it was a lot of extra work trying to get that original clay, the new clay to stick to the old clay. And I was using a heat gun, melting the surface, and then really kind of scribing it. You see all these little lines? I did that as well. Anything to say there? Let's see. Hold on. Let me read your comment. Okay. I want to make a new stone. I read that. I'm trying to get it out. It's a new stretch Kirk. I want to see that. Hey, Solomon, what's happening, buddy? I know this is a late night, but I have drove myself somewhat nuts trying to get this head shape right, Asylum, and I'm back at it again, and I'm not going to give up until I get it right. And I think what it was is I put too much into the shaping of the head instead of worrying about getting that face right first. So I'm taking off this. And the other mistake I made, and I knew it, I did it, and I knew I was battling it, was getting the new clay to stick to the old clay. This clay that's on this armature is 3 years old, and clay that gets that old doesn't like to stick, doesn't like to adhere to newer clay. Don't ask me why, but there is somewhat of a shelf life for the clay. Now, I think partially the reason that that happens is because this has been covered in stone several times. It even had silicone on it a couple, twice, where I siliconed it. I think twice. Might have been just once. I siliconed it once, and it does a lot to the surface of the clay. So you probably have to remelt that clay down really good to get it to where it'll stick again. And that is what I'm doing. But right now I'm actually focused on trying to get the head shape nicely blended. It's weird. When I hit the old clay, it's real slippery. When I hit the new clay, it grabs. You hear that squeaking? That's the old clay. Now, what I want to do is I want to look at this from the back side of the sculpture. Get away from here. You don't want that shit mixed in with my clay. That was a piece of resin that was stuck on there from when I molded this. So my thought was, when I first started trying to adhere the new clay to the old clay, I started having problems with it right away, and I researched it and realized that it's not a good idea to try to get new and old clay to stick together. So, but it can be done. You just have to be, you're really going to work your ass off to get it to do it. And what I should have done right from the get-go, out of the gate, was just recasted one of my night creepers in my silicone mold, and I would have been able to, make a nice I would have been able to make a nice copy of that. Let me double look at this from the behind. That's not bad. Okay. I have to do a little bit more in here. Yeah, it made the head look a lot more narrow, but I got to figure it out. I've got to get it to where it's right. I think what I'll do is I'll run front to back with the clay and blend it into the back of the head instead of doing from the center like I was doing. I actually started piling clay here and here, trying to get it right, and it's definitely not right. So I have to go the other way with it. I have to actually start from here and work my way back and smooth it into the back of the head, because otherwise the shape of the head's going to be too dramatically different. Too much clay is not a good thing. Okay, so Yeah, I might have to start this whole thing all the way, all over again with a new sculpt. Might have to, guys. Hate to say that, but it's just not looking good with this. The way this clay's not sticking to the sculpture. And I'm going to try and see how smooth that is. Hold on, guys. Let me read your comments. My God, I'm blowing up here. What's going on? Stone cast. Trying to get it out. Okay, I read that. My best friend is back on live. Yeah. All right. Let me see. Custom corpses flashback asylum. I'm gonna keep pushing until I get this right, man. There is no. I'm not gonna play around with this asylum. I haven't thought about it. I don't want to call it the flashback because that's already, it's actually a. Um, I don't know. I have to figure it out. I wanted the name to give it away to exactly what it is. Maybe we'll have a little contest. Uh, Best name. So you guys come up with some names. What do we call the flashback mask? Uh, the 78. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see. 78. I want to do flashback. Let me see. What do we want to do? We want to do 78. Something to think about. Something to think about. I got to remelt this clay. This ball of clay. Look at all the clay that I pulled off of that. That ball was half that size. I just pulled all that clay off of that head. Mm-mm-mm. Take a look. Yes, I kept the nice. The clay's good on this side right here. I got the right depth and it's blended in nicely. This side is the one that's going to be problematic. That won't be too bad though. Just more clay has to be added to that side. And how I'm going to do it is I'm going to add it from here and work my way back and then smooth it out until it's wide enough so it matches this side. Yeah, I'll let you guys see a dead on shot now. See? I think you can see a dead on shot, right? That's dead on. See how much more narrower this is over here? I got to put the clay on and kind of bring it back. But I got to make sure I don't lose any of these features here. All right. This ball is solid clay now, so I can't really use this again. So I'm kind of at a standstill for tonight because I don't want to go any further with this until I figure out exactly what I'm going to do. The other thing too is I want to make sure. Put that back in that ear hole. I think. Hold on. Wow, why is that so far? I'll have to figure that one out. That can't be right. I know one way to do it. Seven inches ear hole. I have a funny feeling this one's much further back. No, it's 7 inches for the ear hole. I'll be damned. It's just an illusion. It's just an illusion. Good song. London, put your caps back on, brother. I have a hard time seeing that small text. Night Creeper. Night Creeper flashback. I can do that, but I'm still using the flashback name, and I really don't want to use the flashback name. Although people would know instantly what that is, so I got to think about it. I got to think about that one. I really do, because it's the other thing too is I gotta get this solved here. Don't like the way this looks. Like this area here is bulging out way too much. Let's see what we can do here. Yeah, that looks a lot better that way. But I've got to do the same thing to this side. Yeah, that's coming into play a little bit. Looks more natural now, but I have to dig in more here now. And put the bulges where they need to be. Hate doing this with my left. Yeah, we're ways from perfection, that's for sure. Just shaping out the chin. Jesus, get off of there. You know, when you get down to the fine details when you're sculpting like this, your worst enemy is boogers on your tools. You don't want that. Okay, so let's read some comments. Yeah. Um, yeah, the profile's looking a little better and better, but I still have to get it. It's still off. You know, I could show you. This is the actual. Hold on, let me clean this up, man. I have clay all over the damn floor. Give me a second here, guys. It's terrible. I start moving this armature around. I got clay that I just pulled off the sculpture. Okay. Done done carving tonight. Done sculpting for the night. I can sit and listen to I can talk to you guys now for a few minutes, but I want to show you the actual profile. I have an actual trace out, and I sized it. I used Adobe Audition, not Audition. I used Adobe Audition for pictures, and I made the picture of the profile of the actual screen used mask, and I traced it out onto a clear plastic right here, and we are right on the money with the there's a couple spots that are high, but that's not that big of a deal. It's not really that noticeable enough to change it up too much, but that's where we're at. And the picture may not be perfectly sized. It could be a little bit off, but that's why I think the profile is dead on the money. I have this profile dead on the money. I just had to make sure this lip wasn't sticking out too much here. It looked literally squared off. That didn't look right. So I have to add the features to the bottom of this lip by digging out right there, and then kind of make that chin come together there. But we're pretty close. We're pretty close with the look. I just have to smooth out the head. I gotta get everything smoothed out. I gotta get the nose fixed a little bit better. There has to be a little bit more of a bump on this nose. Just a little bump. I'm going to sneak into that. Why not? Let's fix that now. Keep working it. Keep working it, baby. Keep working it. Too much clay. Little crumbs of clay. I'm making little snakes and I'm going around this thing like this. Oops. Slid off on me. Pulled too hard. That's the little bump that's on the top of that nose. That's the way that's supposed to be. Now it's not perfect yet, but it'll get there. I mess with my profile just a little bit, but nothing that I'm concerned about. Let me just check it just to see how much did that affect my profile. Barely. Okay. Actually didn't do anything. Cool. Actually, the bump's right there in the profile. That's pretty cool. I actually got it right on the money. There's actually a little bump on this profile. Starts right there and it bumps out just a little bit. And I got it right on the money. That's pretty cool. I know it was subtle, but I just didn't know how subtle. But now I do. Yeah. There we go. Let's read some comments. Let's chat. I'll bring it over to here. There's 4 people on. Jeez. You guys can't sleep either? Yeah, you can see the picture that I'm using right over there on the screen. But you see how much narrower my head is now because I took off all that clay at the top of the head. I've got to fix that. But I got to sneak it in from front to back. I can't do it from back to front. Let me see, I'll get it more direct at it. There. You can see how much wider that head is compared to mine. And I definitely don't want to take the length out of it, so I have to make the head wider. No two ways about it. Yes, I do. I've got to make the head. There we go. Now you're straight on. Now you're looking at it straight on. The lip on his left. What do you mean? His left? Needs to be lower? No, it's actually higher on that sculpture. That's the screen used mask picture that's right there on the right hand side of the screen. That writes that his left. Now, if we're looking at the camera, if you're looking at the screen and it's the right side, looking at it, the right side, that has actually, it looks like it has to come up a little bit. I know what it is. It's not so much the lip. The top of the lip doesn't have to come up, but this, I'll tell you what has to come up. This right in the middle, that right there has to come up a little bit. That has to come up. The left side of his face wearing it. Well, that would be this side. It has to come up a little bit at the tip, just a little bit. Yeah, I have them pretty much even right now. I'm not focused on getting the lips perfect yet because I got to get the chin line perfect. I got to get all those things have to be right on the money before you can actually finish the lips. Even the part between the very tip of the top of the nose to the very bottom of the lip. The corner of the left side. Yeah, oh yeah, I know. It has to go down further. Actually, no, that's really kind of, it doesn't. It's because you're seeing this at such a weird angle. See? You know, you guys don't understand when you're doing these sculptures. See how much lower that lip looks now? All it takes is just changing the camera angle just the slightest little bit. And this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about when I need pictures from every possible angle that I can get a picture of it. This way I can see, you know, how much further that lip needs to come down. I can't read you now. Yeah, I mean, it's getting closer. It's getting closer, I know that. But I mean, it's not there yet. It's not there. And I just, very unsatisfied with the entire shape of the head. That's where the problem lies with my sculpture. It's the details I'm not too concerned about. Like if you look at that now, if you look at those lips, why I say, all right, how you have to, all right, like the picture on the right hand side, I'm going to say how you can tell where the camera is actually shooting the actual shot is the position of the chin. How much of the underneath of the chin to the neck can you see? So you can pretty much see perfectly right across the bottom of his chin, right to the back of the neck. In other words, this area here. Let me use a stick. It's easier to reach. I'm sitting back. From right here, right, and looking straight back to the back of the neck, you can see all up underneath of here in that picture. In the picture over there. That means that the angle of that camera is pretty much right where I'm at right now. All right, and that's why the lip now looks correct. But if I go up just a little bit, look what happens. See how it changes the look of that lip? Well, that happens with even his mask. So, you know, it's all depends on, that's why I like, you know, if I can get screenshots of this mask in every possible angle, can't be just from one front view. It has to be from underneath, the top, looking every, you know, I would take a picture. I would literally, if I was going right to left, I would take a picture like this, like a scanner would, do, all the way around, and then same with the bottom to top, and I'd get every angle from every possible position so I can see every angle of that face. It's almost impossible to be deadly accurate to the original sculpture, no matter who it is, unless you actually have something in front of you that's actually three-dimensional that you're sculpting from, or you have every possible angle. That's why my hat goes off to any of these guys out there that are reproducing any Michael Myers mask that looks really good and it looks really close. You have no idea how hard that is to accomplish, especially the older guys like Nick Mulpagano. His masks look amazing, and the thing is, yeah, they're not perfect, but nobody's is. That's the reality. Nobody's masks are perfect, and the reason why is because originally when you know how many few shots that we actually had of that original 78 mask? And you didn't get any angle shots. So you were guessing, you know, and you kept, and I'm sure that when you're working on the sculpture, just like me, you had to do it so many times, over and over and over again, to find that right look, because you couldn't really captivate it without having a lot of those angled pictures. It's really tough to do. It's not easy. Um, like when I do sculpting or sculpting, when I do carvings into wood, it's sceneries. I don't have to be perfect with like everything, because you know it's rustic. It's not. I'm not reproducing something precisionally like you do here. And that is so much easier to do than doing this. Um, I got to raise this up. I know it's not going to give you the best look, but I can't read your comments. I got the camera in front of me now. So let's see. Yes, asylum. I know that. I know that the corner of the mouth is dipped down, but that's only because of the angle that you're seeing that picture. Um, when you see this mask in other angles, you don't see that drastic dip. Um, it's weird, you know. I can show you different pictures of it. It just from a different angle looks totally different. The lips look totally different. You know, you can't go too dramatic. If you go too far, actually, I think what the problem is what you're saying right now is I'm still working on the lower lip. All right, I know what you're saying. I just realized what it is that you're saying. The lip angle doesn't change. I'll show you what has to change. Right here, there has to be a bump. Look at the corner of this right here on the corner of my stick, where I'm pointing at with that. Right here, that has to be a bump that rises up a little higher. All right, and then it'll look like it's dipping down more. I think that's what the problem is. That the picture over there, if you look at that bump in his lip, see that bump in his lip on the picture, on the actual screen used mask? I don't have that on there right now. I've just carved away a lot of this, trying to reshape that chin, and that whole region area. I have to get carved back correctly before I can put that lump in there. So that's the problem right now. I just carved it away. I just carved away a lot of that. But it was because it wasn't, when I looked at it from the profile side, it didn't, those sections looked like they were too straight up and too vertical on the face. You know, I got to get those. Every angle has to be right. Every angle, or else you won't have a good mask. I know one thing, the head is really disturbing me right now, looking at the head. The head has to be so much wider compared to that screen used mask right over there. Look at the difference in how wide that mask is. Hold on, let me move this over further. There you go. Just look at how squared and wide that face is compared to mine. I hear you, London. You're cleaning away, are you? I'm getting ready to go to bed in a few minutes. But now I know I've got some work to do. I've got a lot of work to do to the sculpture before I can call it finished. Not even close. Ticking me off, because I'm going to have to, I'm going to probably have to melt down this clay. Hate to start over again, but I think I might have to, because I don't think I'm going to be able to get that look out of this. I'm not going to get the right look with this sculpture. It's not because I can't. I mean, if that was newer clay that was on there, then I'd be able to do it. But I'm not going to be able to stick. Well, I can do it to the face. The problem is getting it to stick to the bottom of the back of the head. and the sides of the head. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I'm gonna work on it. I'm gonna keep going with it. I'll I'll really clean the back section of this clay and keep pushing at it. I'm just gonna keep working on this thing until I get it, close. And I'm not gonna be on camera all the time working on it. Yeah, the V brow's not even close to being finished yet. I'm just kind of getting near it. That's all. I'm not even. I'm really focusing on trying to get the head shape right. The head is not wide enough. The head itself is not wide enough, and it's making the face look too elongated, and that's really the problem. I mean, just look at the jawline. All right, look at the jawline on my sculpture versus the screen used mask there. You can see how much wider that face is. Just much more, it's a much wider look. It makes the face look shorter. When the head's wider, it makes the face look shorter. Yeah, well, the life cast, I can't really use the life cast because the life cast is way too small. It really produces a very, very small sculpture. And I'm looking for a large one so I can make a couple different sizes. I think with this, if I make it bigger than what it is right now, I'll be able to make 3 size masks. One will be perfect for a real small mask for like a 24-inch. Then there'll probably be a 25.5-inch, and then there'll be a 27-inch mask for somebody that's really big. I'll never make the 27 unless somebody really orders that. But I'll be able to make several sizes, from this sculpture once I'm done. I have to do it in process. You have to do it. What you do is you stone cast this, right? Then what you do is you make a latex mask out of that stone mold, and you foam fill it. All right, and then that mask, when you pull that, it'll shrink after about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It'll shrink up to about maybe 2 inches. It'll shrink up as much as 2 inches, so it'll be 2 inches smaller. And you keep doing that until you get to the right size. Till you get the right size. And there's a trick that a lot of people don't realize is over the course of like say 2-3 weeks, it goes from almost the exact same size as the sculpture and shrinks up maybe 1 inch after like a week. And then what I would do is if I'm trying to go from a 25-inch sculpture mold down to a 24-inch, if I'm trying to go from a 25-inch mask to a 24-inch mask, that means I can't let it shrink up too much. So I'll cast it in stone right away after it only shrinks like an inch. And then what I'll do from there is I'll what do you call it? I'll have a master copy that'll produce a 24-inch mask. So that's the secret. If you wait too long, it'll shrink up to its full 2 inches. A foam-filled master copy only shrinks 2 inches. It doesn't shrink any more than that, even as a thick pull. So I'm learning these tricks as I go. Are you kidding me? I'm still, I'm a rookie with this. 3 years is nothing. That's a blip in time, man. I know. I've been doing what I do for a living for 50 years. So 3 years is like that's a hiccup. So there's a lot of learning to do with this, just like anything. There really is. There's a lot of learning to do before I can really consider myself fairly good at this. I don't know. I'm looking at the lip from the very bottom of the nose to the top of the peaks of the lip. That distance looks too long. on my sculpture. Look how much shorter it is on the other. That might be because the face is just too wide. It's not wide enough. Like I said, it's making it look elongated. And I have to fix it. I have to keep working at it. That's all I can do. Just keep working on it. But I'm really getting tired, guys, and I have to get up, and I got a lot of things to do tomorrow morning. So I'm going to bid you a good night. And London, keep cleaning away, pal. And I'll see you guys on the next video, next time I'm live. Yeah, the life cast, it would save me time, but it's too small of a mask, and I'd have to change it so dramatically. What I want to do, I'll say this real quick, London. What I'd like to do is actually get somebody to scan this life cast. Here, I'll show it to you guys. This is what London's talking about right here. This is the actual stone life cast of William Shatner. And what I'd like to do is have this 3D scanned and increase it in size to the size of like that sculpture. And then I can make adult size masks, because that mask right there, the original mask was a very small mask. But it's useless for me. I would never fit into that. I don't know though, man. My face has gotten a lot more narrow. Here, check me out, guys. Wait do you see how small, how much weight I've lost? See how much weight I've lost, guys? Now, I got a little bit of sagging underneath it here, but that's starting to go away too. But I've lost like 105 pounds so far. That mask would probably fit me now. My head, I've lost a lot of weight in my face. A lot of weight. I mean, I used to feel like this. My face was so blown up, So I keep looking at I don't know. What you're saying, the 78 was so small. Yeah, it was a very small mask. Ridiculously small. Oh, here's the camera. That's what I have to look at. I have to look there to talk to you guys. I myself need a 25-inch mask. Well, in London, you know what I'm talking about. So you have to actually make a decent-sized mask. Yeah, I look a little different, I'm not different, but I am. I'm 62 years old. I'm holding up well, as they say. My heart's in perfect rhythm now. And I keep making the mistake of looking at my camera instead of the camera lens. Yeah, Asylum, you go ahead and drink some of that. I'll come over for a shot myself. Man, anyway. Yeah, I got a little sun today too. I was out in the sun a little bit today. I didn't go out too much. I was just out on my chair relaxing. Pretty warm day over here in South Jersey. The yellow mask behind. Oh! Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me tilt it down. That is one of my original. Can I zoom with this? Ooh, spooky. Hold on. The other way, dopey. That was an original copy of my. Now that's a urethane copy. Get My Six. I don't know if you guys ever saw that guy. But he does that in his show all the time. He kind of puts his little peak in his eye, one eye on the. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, I've been doing it for 50 years. And I got rid of I'll say about 60% of my records. I got rid of 60% of them. Yeah, they go all the way to the floor, my records. and I have them all the way over here. Well, I used to have a whole bunch of them over here, actually over there, but I took all those records out of there, and they're upstairs in storage. You know, I kept my valuable records and got rid of all the other garbage. It's just not accurate enough. Like, you know, the eye cuts are not. I can't. It doesn't have that overhang with the eye cut. In other words, it doesn't stick out far enough this way, and it almost looks like they're flush. The eye cuts doesn't looks good when you're looking at it dead on, but it's one of those things when you turn the side view, a profile look, it doesn't look right. So that's the problem with that sculpture. Man, it's so weird. I want to tell you guys. See, I'm back to normal sinus rhythm. You see how I got color in my face now? And that's not just from the sun. I'm sorry, I don't think I actually had that much. I'm looking at no, I didn't get any sun. No, my heart's back to normal, and now I'm getting good blood flow. And I'm not lethargic. I'm not, like when I was talking on camera, I was looking at some of my old videos, man. I was literally like just, yeah, I was just gone, man. I got to tell you, I feel 20 years younger, and I'm not kidding about that. That's amazing. What that arrhythmia was doing to me was insane. And you know, I'll tell you, I was told by the doctor, my regular, not my specialist. I was told by the regular doctor that he said, look, man, I'm going to put you on Ozempic because you won't be here in a year if you keep going in the direction you're going. You know, between the diabetes, the heart, everything was giving me problems. And I said, well, okay, so what are we doing about it? Let's do something. I mean, I've for 30 years, I've been wanting to do something, you know. So I've tried every diet, and I have been very strict with those diets because I used to be a health nut. I really took care of myself. I didn't eat bad. I really never ate bad all my whole life. Even when I gained the weight, I was still eating. I ate less than my wife did, which is bizarre, you know. And my wife's as skinny as a rail. Beautiful girl, my wife is. Yeah, she is. And I know all husbands say that about their women. I don't know, not all of them, but I can say my wife has been a very, very beautiful woman. You know, and she's now 60, and she's held up very well. And even after I have 2 kids, you know, I'm the one the wheels fell off. You know, so she's thrilled to death because of all the weight loss and how I look and how I feel, and you know, so the doctor pretty much said, yeah, you're a dead man. Yeah, I'll give you a year if we don't do something. So he put me on Ozempic, and that was back in October. In October to January, I lost like 40, 50 pounds. It was that fast. I lost so much weight so quick. Then I developed, well, I've always had arrhythmia, but I went into an arrhythmia attack. And I really believe it was caused from the Ozempic. You know, because that drastic weight drop in such a short time, it put me in arrhythmia. And what happened was I was in arrhythmia from January. It was I'm sorry, it was right after Christmas. Yeah, so it was January, February, March 26th. So literally 3 months I was in arrhythmia and in a regular heartbeat. So it kind of squashed everything I was doing all winter long, and made me so lethargic and so tired, and I couldn't get out of my own way. It just, you know, you get a little winded, but meanwhile I was still dropping weight, dropping. I'm down 105 pounds now, guys. I've lost 105 pounds. That's a lot of weight since October. That's only 6 months ago, almost 7 months. But that's a lot of weight in a short time. So, yeah, you know, 105 pounds. I go another 100 pounds, man. I'm going to be exactly where I want to be, and then that'll be my perfect weight. I went for my first bike ride today, and I haven't done that in over 25 years. So it's been a real, like, my life has so dramatically changed from October to now. It's just insane, absolutely insane. I can't. I would not have believed it if somebody had told me this, that my life was going to be where it's at right now. Back in October, when I was first told that pretty much you got a year to live. Um, Now, he said that to threaten me. He really didn't think exactly a year. But he was saying you're marching to the grave real fast. So, um, and it wasn't anything I was doing. I was eating good. I was eating healthy. The problem is when you can't exercise. I wasn't allowed to exercise because of the arrhythmia. The arrhythmia stopped me cold. Wasn't allowed to. As soon as I did any activity, I would go into an arrhythmia attack. So it really caused a lot of problems. So um, it's just so weird, man. I just feel so different now. Not a flutter, not nothing. Everything's perfect. Perfect sinus rhythm. Boom, 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 boom. I haven't felt that in, phew, I can't even tell you. So, went for my bike ride today. Uh, my heart wasn't, it raced a little higher than what it should. Not saying what it should. It's just because I'm still healing. And I found out today, because I went to see the specialist that did the surgery. And it does take 3 months to heal from this surgery. And you can still go back into arrhythmia with this type of surgery done to you. Hopefully it doesn't, but there's a chance that it can. And if it does, they do what they call an inversion. They put you under, put you asleep, they shock you back to normal sinus rhythm. Or if it's too rapid or too bad, then they do another ablation. You know, but if I'm going to keep going back into arrhythmia, like I like I did before, I'm gonna no do another ablation. I don't look. There's quality and quantity. I'd rather have 5 years of quality than 20 years of misery. So I'm sorry. I've lived this long life. Half of my life has been unhealthy. The other half, you wouldn't know it. I can tell you what I used to do. You wouldn't know this by looking at me. I played semi-pro football. All right, not in the same order. I started out scuba diving, high diving. I did all kinds of activity. I was an athlete. I was 100% pure athlete, and I used to. All right, first thing I learned how to do was like swim. I was born like a fish. I naturally could swim. I learned how to swim when I was 2 years old, literally, and I mean that. Um, my dad threw me right in the water. Go ahead, kid, swim. So, and I did. I became like a fish. So I got interested in water sports, got involved with that stuff, and then I went into scuba diving, and I was a lifeguard once upon a time. I went into high diving too because I used to work out on a trampoline all the time, and I got really good on the trampoline. So I went into a place called the Aqua Circus, and close where I live. It's no longer there anymore. It was back in the '70s when I was there, and I wasn't allowed to, but we used to sneak up on the platforms, and I had a couple of us friends with the divers. We actually had one of the high divers, professional high divers, living with us in our apartment that we had on the island. And well, that was a Leva. That was a different guy. But the diver used to say, "Hey, come on after 5 o'clock, and I'll show you how to dive. You're real good on the trampoline, so come on, I'll show you how to dive. It's simple. If you're good on the trampoline, you'd be great, with diving, because your timing's all there." So, sure enough, before you know it, I'm jumping 42 feet in the air, 55 feet in the air. I was pretty high up, jumping into I think it was 12 foot deep in the deep end. I used to do that. Did that for like probably 4 or 5 years, you know. And then from there, what else did I do? Well, I went into scuba diving. You know, I did the scuba diving thing. Did that for like 10 years, something like that. Never got into surfing because we live in Jersey and the waves are what, 4 feet high. To me, what's the point? That's not surfing to me. And I was always kind of a daredevil. I really was. I had no fear. I had no fear of anything. That's probably why I just went, okay, put me into surgery, get me fixed right now. Since I'm allowed to do it, let's do it, you know. But that's how I tackled that. I tackled everything like that, just full steam ahead. Fear only ruins your life. Don't let fear ruin your life. If you're afraid of something, roll the dice, fix it. Surfing, I didn't think it was scary. I used to skateboard a lot. I used to skateboard, but skateboarding and surfing are a little different. I water skied a lot. I used to water ski a lot. Slalom ski, that means one ski. You were using one ski, and I used to slalom ski. Now, I'm too far away from the mountains to really be a great snow skier. So, you know, we're in the Jersey Flats here, so I'd have to drive about 4 to 5 hours just to go get snow to go skiing in the Pocono Mountains. So I used to water ski a lot. What else did we used to? Scuba diving. I love scuba diving. I had my bit with lifeguarding. And I used to exercise swimming. That was my biggest exercise. And there was an island called West Wildwood that was part of the Wildwoods. So you had North Wildwood, Wildwood, and Wildwood Crest, 3 cities tied up into a 5 mile long island. West Wildwood, it was a little island by itself, right in the middle on the backside on the bay. And there used to be a channel that used to go around that entire island. And I used to swim that channel, and that was a 6 mile swim. And that's what I used to do once a week. I would jump in that, you know, and I had pit stops. I would stop at certain people's docks because I had to keep hydrated. Because a 6 mile swim, it ain't easy. All right, so I only did it once a week because every muscle in your body, when you were done, man, you were done. You were done. It took 3 to 4 days to heal up from that swim. You know, and I kept myself hydrated. I used to jump up onto somebody's dock, go, you know, turn their faucet on, drink some water, and then, you know. But I got permission from all those houses. They used to know me all the time, and I used to have to catch the right tide too. Oh my God, if the tide was wrong, man, I would swim for an hour just trying to go 25 feet because that incoming tide was really brutal. So I had to catch the right tide. I used to catch the outgoing tide at the very top of the height of the tide. Catch the outgoing tide, go around the island. By the time I got to the other side of the island coming back in, the tide started coming back in. So it was like a 6 hour swim. I took my time, but I got around it. I got around that entire thing. I used to do it once a week. Then, what else did I do? I played flag football for a while, and then I played semi-pro football first. Then I played flag football for a while. Semi-pro was tough. You know, I had to put on a lot of muscle during those years, and I never worked out. Never went to the gym just to bulk up. I was never that kind of guy. I always had a reason. Like if I was going to exercise, it was because I was doing some kind of sport, and I'm glad I was like that because I just think that just to work out, just to exercise and being, you know, muscles all over the place, I find most of those guys are like sometimes the worst athletes in the world because they have no timing, no rhythm, no nothing. They don't have that real, they're just not real good athletes. Muscle bounded, but strong, I'll give them that. But no athletic ability. And believe it or not, I think there's so much more to be said for being agile and athletic than to be just strong. Um, you know. And I also used to run between 6 and 10 miles every other day. That was another thing I got into. Even later in life, I was actually in the best shape of my life when I developed the arrhythmia. I was running between 6 and 10 miles every day. No, I'm sorry, every other day, and I would hit the gym in between those days. Every other day I would be running 6 to 10 miles. And when I say run, I used to do about a 7.5 minute mile. A slow jog, I would say a regular normal jog is about a 10-minute mile. So I wasn't doing a seven. I got it down to, no, I'm sorry, it was 6.5 minutes. And I used to sometimes slow up and do the 7.5 minute mile. But I would go, at the peak performance of what I would do. If you run, it's so funny with running. A lot of people don't realize this. With jogging or running or whatever it is, once you get to that peak performance, and whatever how fast you're running, once you go 3 miles, all right, I call that the 3 mile barrier. Once you can run 3 miles, no matter what speed it is you're running, all right, once you do that, you can go 10 miles because it doesn't change your rhythm. Kind of all of a sudden you're syncopated. Everything's like just staying the way it is. You don't get tired. You just keep going and going and going and going. Now, my regret was playing semi-pro football. I destroyed my back in football. I wish I never played football. I would have preferred coaching. I was very good at football. I could have been a great coach. But I don't know. I loved playing the game too, so it is what it is. But I destroyed my back in the process. So now the only thing I want to do at this age is ride a bike. Just get on a bicycle, not a bike, trike, or Harley or anything like that. I just want to get on a bicycle and go on the bike path over here that we have in our township and just go for, nice little bike rides. And that'll be good enough for me. I don't need to prove anything in my life. I've done a lot in my life. But I have to say I was blessed to do all those things because of where I live. I live in a region in this town. Now, there's two sides to that story, two sides to this coin here, so to speak, living in this type of area. It's very beautiful, peaceful. You don't have a lot of traffic. In the summer you do, because it is a resort town. Cape May County is a resort area. So for 3 months of the year, we do have a lot of traffic. But the rest of the year, it's nice and quiet and peaceful, all right? And we have the ocean, we have the back bays. We can go, if you're like fishing, you can go fishing, you can go scuba diving, you can do every kind of sport there is, especially if you're a young person. It is a really nice area to live. I have to say that. We don't really have high crime here. We have crime just like anybody else, but it's not significant. It's not real bad. And especially when I was younger, there was barely any crime outside of people doing drugs. That happened all the time. So, but we didn't have these high crimes in this region, so it wasn't real bad. Peaceful. I live offshore, which is more woodsy, but it's getting more developed as I talk to you about this. It's constantly being developed. There's barely, you can't go real far into the woods, without running into somebody's backyard. So anyway, besides that, the islands, the barrier islands, they're out. It's like a 3 mile journey going east from here, and that takes you right to the wildwoods and the barrier islands. And they're kind of like little cottages, but now they've turned everything into condos. But back when I was growing up, there were cottages, little bungalows and stuff. And people, and I'll tell you, it used to be so funny. People would come down from the city, like Philadelphia or New York, and they would rent these little bungalows for the entire season. It only cost them $6,000 to rent one of those bungalows. And how it would work was the father probably had to work all night, all weekend or all week long still. So he'd bring his family down, leave them stay in the beach house bungalow, and he would commute back and forth. He would just stay home for like 3 or 4 days, work up there, and then come back down for the weekends. And that's how a lot of the summer people were, people coming down from the city. They would put their families down the shore and, go up, but it would only cost them $6,000. Now they put all these condos up, and nobody can afford it. The condos are like $35,000, $40,000 for a season. Who the hell has that kind of money? And this has always been like a blue collar area. When I say classification, it's a working type of clientele that we have that come down here to stay in the islands. But even that now, it's becoming less and less. We only have extreme rich people being able to afford to come down here and stay at all. And the hotels, it is what it is. They cost a fortune to come stay in them. I think the average price for a hotel on a weekend is like $250 to $300 a night. Maybe more. I might be wrong about that. Maybe a little less, depending on which hotel. I'm not trying to bash the hotels, but they also have to make all their money in a 2-month stretch, 2.5, 3-month stretch. They have to make their money to cover their bills for the entire winter. So, tough racket, especially when you got to pay the taxes and all the utilities, and nothing's easy. And the economy's real bad right now. I don't want to get political. That's not what I'm trying to do here. But we were better off 4 years ago. No doubt about that. So, I don't know. Without saying any more, you already know where I'm standing. You know where I stand. So, anyway, I think I'm going to say goodnight. And hopefully I catch you guys on here again. The next time I'm on, probably tomorrow night. I might be back on tomorrow night. I've got to figure out this head. I got to definitely make this. It's got to be wider. It's got to be wider. I'm actually going to have to blow this thing up and measure it. I'm going to have to actually take measurements and everything of this. I think what I'm going to. I know what I'll do. I know exactly what I'll do. I got a plan, and I'm going to make it work. But I got to get a big enough piece of paper. That's the key, to print it. No, you know what I'll do? I'll do half the head and then the jawline and the neck area. I'll make it happen. I'll make it happen. Anyway, you guys have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Peace. It does an asylum. What does it have in place of its nose? Just curious. What do you want to put there? A hook? A booger? A big booger sticking out? Hey, I didn't put my tooth in. I feel naked. That was a football injury right there. I got this front tooth knocked out. I filled in for the place kicker. There's a story for you real quick. Guy gets his knee blown out. He did a kickoff, and he got run into. On a kickoff, on a kicking off the ball. We scored a touchdown, and we kicked off, and the guy ran right into his knee, blew his knee out. So here I am. They know I could kick, so I used to kick, and I get on there, and our offensive line wasn't the best in the world, and this actually happened. Has a skull nose. Okay, cool. We can do that. so they pitched me, yo, can you get on there and kick a field goal for us? Yeah. So I get on there. And our offensive line sucked. I hate to say that, but they did. They were terrible. Our offensive line was. So I don't know if any of you guys have ever place kicked before, but ice soccer style. And you have to, you line the ball up, you put your toe down, and then your holder will put his finger down on the field where he's going to put that ball down when he catches it from the snap. And he'll hold his finger down there, and this way I can see that spot. But I never take my eye off that spot, even after I've stepped back 2 steps and then 1 side step to the right, or actually to the left because I'm right-footed. I sidestep back, I sidestep over, and my eye is on that spot. I never take my eyes. I never look up the field. I never look up I never look up at all. So here I go. I hear ball's coming back right there. Puts it perfect plant. I 1, 2, boom. I nailed that ball really hard. And next thing you know, I saw a flash. Just saw a flash. I was out on the field. Tooth knocked out. Blood all over my face. What the hell happened? Well, they put a little of that smelling sauce under my. It wasn't sauce. It was a little. It's like ammonia tablet in a glass vial, and it's got it's like a membrane that's over top of it. So when they break it and make you breathe that in, wake you right up, man. I wake up, my blood's all over my face. I'm missing my tooth. I didn't know I was missing my tooth until the guy next to me, yo, man, hate to tell you this, pal. The reason why you're tasting blood is because you ain't got no tooth. And I'm like, oh, great. So now I'm missing a tooth. They paid for the remainder because it broke it right off at the gum. And they had to get it removed. I had to have it removed, the rest of it. And, I didn't have insurance, but they paid for it. The league did. It was in the semi-pro league. So they paid for that removal. So anyway, I got a partial plate. They gave me a partial plate, and they paid for that too. So anyway, I'm rattling. I'm getting tired. So, but it's weird seeing my cell phone camera and having color in my face because I'm back to normal sinus rhythm. Feel good. Everything's good. I'm just reading I'm touching the, oh, come on, really? I'm reading the comments. Yeah, good luck shitting out rubber. Anyway, okay. All right, guys. I am going to bounce. I got to bounce. I just gave you my whole life story. Hey. Thrills a minute. But I got to tell you, the last 30 years have been hell because I went from being able to do everything to nothing. And, I relied on my art and my music to give me gratification. And thank God I had them. So, but now, I've got YouTube, got my music, sculpting, and I can ride a bike. And I'll be able to do things again. Now, I'll always have back injury. That's never going to go away. But I'll have, quality of life is so much better right now than it ever was. I am going to get off the blood thinners because I want to be able to take pain medication that's not hard, dry, crunchy booger. Ugh. Good luck chewing on that. Yeah. Not a booger eater, not me. Not my thing, man. It just makes my stomach queasy when I even think about it. It's just gagging a maggot here. Ugh. And who hasn't hocked back a lunger and then
spit it out, but man, oh man, I don't even do that today. I don't know. There's just something about it just grosses me out, man. Definitely messes with me now. So anyway, guys, I am going to get off here. I'm really beat, tired, and I've already eaten, so I'm not hungry. I just got to take my medicine and get to bed. And you guys do the same. Have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Bye.